I was number 23 out of 25 reps at my first ever company as a sales rep. About a month later, I became number 3. Then I got recruited to Sales Sniper, which back then was the largest sales agency in high ticket sales. As the new guy, I became number 1 out of 4 reps, outselling the other 3 reps combined by myself. Then I got recruited to 7th Level, one of the largest sales training companies in the world, where I again became a top producer, outselling closers who all previously have been top performers at their previous companies who have 2, 5, 10 more years of sales experience than I did. I'm not a natural born salesman. I'm not an alien. I just did a few things differently than most people to get ahead. The first thing was sacrifice. So I sacrificed everything else than the thing I was trying to do. I sacrificed everything else out of my life that was not helping me get to my goal. So I deleted all the social media apps from my phone. Instagram, Facebook, dating apps, you name it. So I wasn't swiping over Tinder. I wasn't going on Facebook and scrolling around. I wasn't going out to clubs. I wasn't even hanging out with my friends for a few months. My best friends who I lived 10 minutes away from me, I didn't even see them for a couple months. All I did was eat, sleep, gym, take sales calls. If I ever got a no-show, I was on the dialer talking to leads. When my leads were sleeping, I was looking back at my sales call recordings and I was debriefing or role-playing or studying sales. Now, do you have to take it to this extreme? No, actually looking back, I wouldn't cut out socializing completely. I would still maybe go out maybe once a week or so. That way you're not being a weird sales robot. You're still talking to real life human beings, which is very important for you to help you loosen up. So I'll still do that. As you go about your day, I would still talk to people, talk to strangers, be loose, get better at your social skills in general. That way when you're talking to prospects, you're a lot more conversational. But what is important is that there's only a finite amount of time, effort, energy, and focus that a human being has that we can put into something, right? So it's almost like if you have all these other things going on that your attention and time are going into, whether it be scrolling on social media or you're going on dating apps and swiping or whatever, then that's just gonna be taken away from the goal you're trying to achieve, which is sales and trying to make more money and trying to be really, really successful. So as Tony Robbins says, the best way to get better at something is called immersion. Immersion is when you just immerse into it, as the title says. And now, does this have to be a forever thing? No, not really. I mean, there's different phases, right? Most of us here are not Kobe Bryant. Most of us here are not David Goggins, as cool as that sounds. I used to want to be like Kobe Bryant, then I realized I don't want the life of Kobe Bryant. I highly respect Kobe as what he's done in his career. He's still one of my biggest inspirations. At the same time, I still want to have a life here and there, you know what I'm saying? But just in the beginning phases or when you're in the immersion phase, right? Doesn't matter if you're new to high ticket sales or you've been in high ticket sales for a couple of years. When you're in a period of really trying to expand and get to the next level, let's say you're like 5 to 10K a month, you're trying to get to 20K, 30K, 40K a month, then obviously it'd be more conducive to sit down and lock in and get after it. Now, if you want to shortcut your progress and you want to get to 10K, 20K, 30K a month in commissions in high ticket sales and provide a better life for yourself and the people that you care about, and you're a hardworking, intelligent individual to take responsibility for himself, absolutely no income guarantees here. But if you want to shortcut your progress, you can go to the first link in the description box below right after watching this video. You'll be able to see a demo of our training program, Real Sales System, where we've helped sales reps like yourself get to 10K, 20K, 30K a month. We've also had someone get to 100K a month in his own pockets by going to management/leadership role, but I'm not even going to mention that. So the second thing I did differently than most people is just talking to more leads. Simple as that. I know it sounds very fucking boring, but usually sales reps, what they do is whenever they get a no-show or empty space in their calendar, typically I'll ask them, okay, what do you do during that dead time? And they'll usually say, oh, I'm watching a YouTube video, I'm going on a walk, or I'm role-playing with a buddy, or I'm watching sales videos. And while those things are great, how many of those things directly put money into your pocket? Exactly, none of them, right? Now, I know you have good intention, you wanna get better, you wanna role play, and you wanna watch sales videos, but the thing is, we can do those things outside of our selling hours, right? So we can do those things outside our selling hours. So during selling hours, then we just fucking sell. And outside of our selling hours, then we can do those things like debriefing, looking at game tape, looking at sales call recordings, role playing, going through sales videos, things like that. Because as a commission-only sales rep in this industry, that is the only way to make more fucking money, is by closing deals and putting money into our own pocket. How do we close more deals? By talking to more leads. And the thing with talking to more leads is that, and what I mean by that is, whenever I get a no-show or empty space on my calendar, I'll just go into the dialer and start talking to leads immediately. And the thing is, good thing about today's day and age is back then, you'd have to literally pick up the phone and start dialing. And the phones back then didn't look like this, right? They had like a little fucking, like whatever these phones are called, right? You'd pick that up, like punch in the fucking numbers from like a sketchy looking lead list. But these days, what do we have? We have CRMs, right? So all we gotta do is, okay, click the CRM, click on the dial button, and it rings the list for us. and have all the lead notes there. It's like our generation is fucking crazy. It isn't, it's fucking a lot easier than our past generations. And so whether it be, okay, no sale follow-ups, leads that hopped on a sales call but did not move forward, we can ring them up and move them forward. We can also ring up people that already bought shit before and we can ascend them, upsell them into higher ticket shit. Right? We can do that. We can also call up people that opted into something, requested information, but didn't book a call. We can ring them up, or we can ring up people that no-showed us, and we can ring them up to sell them or book them in. And the beautiful part about this is a flywheel, right? So not only does it increase your chance of making more money, but also you get better at sales a lot quicker than if you were to just do a role play or just watch a video, because watching a video is good, but if you don't implement it, then it's just theoretical, just consuming shit, right? Well, the role play is kind of good, but it's not as realistic as a real life sales call. Third one is huge. It's called debriefing. So after I was done with my day, I would always look back at my data, my sales call recordings, and I would pull out a Google document and I'd write down 2 things I did well, 2 things I need to improve on, and 1 thing I'm gonna work on tomorrow that's gonna make the biggest impact on me achieving my goal. And the reason why this is important is that a lot of people, they may take a lot of sales calls and they may have been in sales for quite a while, but they just don't fucking improve. Why is that? Because they don't analyze. They don't analyze their successful actions. They don't analyze their unsuccessful actions. And so if something's working well on their sales calls or whatever they're doing, if they don't analyze it, okay, like this is working well, repeat that, then they're not gonna repeat it as much, therefore losing out on deals. On the other end, on the negative, if there's mistakes they're making, but they may not know because they don't even look at their data, they don't even look at their sales call recordings, and they're not analyzing it, they just have a blind spot, they're losing deals, they don't even know why, then that person, doesn't matter how many years they're gonna be in sales, they're not gonna improve that much, as opposed to somebody who's analyzing each part, right? So I actually learned this habit from the pickup and the dating community, okay? So before I even got into sales, I come from the pickup and the dating community where I was going out and cold approaching 50 women a day for 6-7 days a week for months and months and months, right? So I would cold approach women on the streets, at clubs, at cafes, you name it, okay? And one of the biggest things they teach in the pickup community is something called a field report. What a field report is, literally, you're writing down exactly what we're talking about. 2 things you did well, 2 things you need to improve on, 1 thing you're gonna work on tomorrow. So it may sound something like, okay, cool, 2 things I did well. Well, I approached 50 girls today. Fucking great. Another thing I did great today. Well, I wasn't as nervous as yesterday. 2 things I need to improve on. Oh, I keep looking away because I feel nervous with eye contact. So 1 thing I'm gonna work on tomorrow is no matter what happens, even if I feel awkward, just holding eye contact, right? And so the thing is, our subconscious mind often doesn't really process information like that and really reflect on it until we sit down and write these things out. And we gotta make the subconscious a conscious. Make sense? So same thing on sales calls, like, yeah, you may think that, oh, of course I know what to improve on, of course I know what to fucking fix. Well, do you really? Because if you really did, then you'd be making a lot more fucking money than you are now. You know what I'm saying? So because I was reflecting each time, I was able to get feedback loops, and I realized like, oh fuck, I didn't even realize I was fucking that up. Like I'm gonna stop doing that. I keep doing the gotcha thing. That sounds super scripted. I'm gonna stop doing that. Okay, whenever I ask this question in this way, this tends to work well, so I'm gonna keep doing that. Is that making sense? 4th one is practicing until I cannot get it wrong. So when I was a sales sniper, there was a lot of guys that came from the military. Now, I served in the Korean military. These guys served in the special forces. And so what the special forces guys would always say is, well, in the special forces, they say, well, we don't practice it. We don't do it until we get it right. We do it until we cannot get it wrong. There's a difference, right? So it's not that, let's say you're practicing a certain question on the script, right? Maybe like, okay, cool, I'm gonna practice this one objection handling reframe. What most people do is they don't even fucking practice, right? They may just watch videos, but even if they do, they practice maybe a couple times, and they may be able to kind of go through it super clunky once, but they're satisfied with it. Whereas the top sales reps, they just keep doing it over and over and over and over again. They're like, okay, cool, great, that was good. Again, to the point where they cannot get it wrong. So I'll give you different examples in different contexts. So Larry Bird, who's a Hall of Famer in basketball, he's one of the greatest legends that play the sport. There's this one instance where the interviewer was asking Larry, he's like, hey Larry, I know you're great at making shots, right? Shooting those shots, but could you demonstrate a bad shot? So I think Larry Bird, he was trying to demonstrate a bad shot with an interviewer. He was trying to show like, okay, don't shoot it like this. And when he shot it, it went in because he practiced it so many times. He practiced it until he cannot get it wrong. Even if he tries to get it wrong, he cannot. Same thing with Steve Nash. Steve Nash, one of the best point guards in the sport, one of the best passers, and he was also trying to demonstrate, trying to throw a bad pass. He was like, hey, don't throw it like this. but it ended up becoming a perfect pass. Why? Because it became muscle memory. They did it so many times until they cannot get it wrong, so they cannot get it wrong. As opposed to amateurs or mediocre sales reps or average sales reps, where they have to think, oh, what do I say after this? Ah, man, I gotta think of what I'm gonna say next. So they're wasting unnecessary brain power. So when we were holding the London mastermind for our students for Real Sales System a couple of weeks back, we had Vlad, and Vlad is a 100K a month earner. So as a sales rep, he got to 30K a month in commissions. He's one of the highest paid sales reps in his country. So now he's doing something called sales operations, where he partners up with the business and he helps them hire sales reps, build sales processes, manage them and train them, so on and so forth, and get a profit share. So he's making 100K a month, not cash collected, but 100K a month in his own pocket without having to be on sales calls all day. And when I was handing him out the award, the 100K a month trophy, I asked him, what do you think separates you versus somebody who's making maybe only, 5 to 10K a month? And Vlad basically said, well, I just go through the boredom. I just practice it, the questions over and over and over and over and over and over again. And this can be very tedious and boring for most people, which is why they don't do it, right? Most people say like, oh, I want to get better, I want to be the best, but their actions don't show it, right? So this is a common trait that I've realized, like you do it until you cannot get it wrong. Next one is analyzing data. So what I did was I built my own custom sales data tracker, which I know a lot of high ticket sales programs copy it, slap their logo on it as if it's theirs and give me no credit, which is okay, fair game. But on that data tracker, what I do is I track all my data daily. How many sales calls were on my calendar, how many showed up, how many rescheduled, no showed, how much revenue generated, deals closed from one call closes, deal closed from follow-up deals, and cash collected. Okay, what kind of objections did I get? What kind of objections did I overcome? And I'd look at it daily, weekly, and a monthly basis. Now, most people, most sales reps hate looking at data. They absolutely hate it. They think it's very boring. But I found a lot of joy in it, actually. I think a lot of times, I remember Sam Ovens, he would say that he enjoys looking at spreadsheets more than he enjoys looking at human beings. And sometimes I felt that way too, because I just geek out on this shit, right? I love looking at numbers, and I'd analyze, okay, if someone put a gun to my head and I could only fix one metric, only one thing, that would make the biggest impact on me making more money. What is that thing? And I'd obsess over that shit. And oftentimes, there'd be a lot of things to fucking fix, a lot of things I could be working on. I could be fixing my show up rate, I could be fixing my pre-call process, my objections, my this, my that. But I'll only focus on the biggest bottleneck, because when we try to work on 10 different things, we're gonna be ineffective in all of them. In Korea, we have a saying, which is, if we try to dig 10 different wells, then we're not gonna be able to dig the wells like that deep, right? As opposed to if we're digging only one well, we're gonna be able to go balls fucking deep, right? Because we have focus. So I'd focus on that. Where am I losing the most amount of commissions to? And let me just fix that. Which brings us to the next point, which is slot utilization rate. Whenever I looked at the data, oftentimes, and whenever I look at a sales rep's data, and every sales rep wants to get better, like, hey, Brian, how do I overcome this objection or this objection pre-handling? And while those will help, and you should be working on those for sure, yes, absolutely. However, at the same time, what I find is that the thing that makes the biggest difference in a sales rep's commissions in the quickest amount of time is simply increasing their slot utilization rate. What do I mean by slot utilization rate? So you might be familiar with show up rate, which is if you have 10 calls on the calendar today, 7 show up, obviously your show up rate is 70%, right? Now let's look at another token, okay? Let's say you have 4 calls on the calendar and 3 show up. So that's 75% show up rate. That's incredible show up rate, right? But that is also really low slot utilization rate, because let's just say you work 5 days a week and you take 10 calls a day. That would be 50 hours a week that you have allocated for sales. And so if we look at that, if you have 3 calls a day showing up each day, which is 15 a week, then your slot utilization rate is only 30%, meaning that your calendar is only utilized for 30%. So that is the difference between show up rate and slot utilization rate. Does that make sense? Show up rate is how many people are showing up. Slot utilization is how much of your calendar is being utilized, being used and optimized, okay? On paper, the show rate looks good, but in reality, you're taking the 15 leads a week or 15 sales calls a week that you're taking. So this is the reason why, I used to feel like I was working fucking all the time, and a lot of sales reps feel like they're working all fucking day. But in reality, when we break down the numbers, in reality, if you look at that, let's say 3 calls a day show up 5 days a week, and each sales call goes for 1 hour. In reality, that sales rep is only working 15 hours a week. The part-time gig, that's borderline passive income, right? But it just feels like we're working a lot emotionally because we're sitting down at our desk, right? So the biggest leverage is increasing your slot utilization rate. There's different ways you can do that, right? You can talk to your management and see if you can actually get more calls on the calendar. You can talk to setters to get more booking, or you can also pick up the dialer yourself. And also what we want to be doing is picking up the dialer, going to the CRM, and going CRM hunting. Same thing what we talked about previously, upselling clients, following up with no sales, no shows, outbounding opt-ins, things like that. Because the thing about skill set, right? Getting better at objection handling, tonality, those things. Yes, absolutely, we want to be working on it every single day, but those things take time. Like skill set just takes time, right? But the thing about like sales processes, like increasing your slot utilization rate, is it is instantaneous. Like the change is within 1 to a few days. Because the thing about getting more calls on the calendar, you can go into the CRM right now and book out tomorrow's calendar if it's not that full. So again, all these things are good, right? YouTube videos are good, theory, okay, great, you got some entertainment, right? But if you want to actually implement these things, shortcut your progress and have someone give you accountability and feedback hands-on so you can get to 10K a month, 20K a month, 30K a month in commissions in high ticket sales. That's what we help our students do instead of a training program, real sales system. Now, no income claims here. I'm not saying you're gonna make the same amount, but if you're a hardworking individual, you're intelligent, you take responsibility for yourself, you're coachable, then you can go to the first link in the description box below. You'll be able to see a demo of our program. If you're eligible, you'll be able to schedule a consultation call. See you there.